Okay, back on the Impala restoration. Be sure and hit that like and subscribe. Okay, this is part 12. And if you haven't followed this restoration, I'll bring you up to speed. Now, all of the floor, inner and outer rockers, and the entire rear clip has been cut off. Now, the floors have been mocked into place, as well as the inner and outer rockers, door skins. This is what we're going to be prepping the parts on the board for next. Okay, this is the outer wheel well housing. And the driver's side has the door opening for the fuel tank. Now we need that fuel door, and we need the housing behind it. This piece, we're going to be removing that, media blasting it, reinstalling it on the new wheel well housing. And we're going to get this door off. Now this Impala has new inner quarter panels. They were mocked into place. A couple of screws. We're going to get that out of the way. And now we're going to go ahead and remove the rest of the outer wheel well housing. Now there is rust on the inner wheel well housing, and I would love just to replace that, but seems like that piece is not offered or nobody's reproducing it, so we're going to have to perform some rust repair on it. No big deal. We'll take care of that. Left hand side out of the way. And now we're going to come back and dress down the wells. We're going to straighten the flanges and get everything prepped to install the new outer wheel well housings. And we're just removing some of the remnant of the quarter panels. We never want to cut too much off at one time. I'd rather make a couple of cuts than cut too much off. Okay, now this is a trick. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Now originally, body chutes or an undercoating, sound deadener, whatever you like to call it, was applied to this car, probably at the factory or dealership. Okay, since the age of this car, that's gotten kind of hard and brittle. And I'm using an air hammer turned all the way down to its lowest setting, and it will just blow this stuff right off without damaging any of the metal. And if you just work slowly and patiently, you can have really good results. Now this doesn't always work. Sometimes you have to use other methods, but this time it will, so we're going to take advantage of it. A needle scaler do the same, have the same results. Okay, now to address the rust, we're just going to use a wire wheel and finish off the inner wheel well housing. Then when we're done with all of this, we're going to, and the repair is finished, we're going to come back with an encapsulator and brush on. And we're going to get the rest of that outer wheel well housing off. Some more cleanup work. And that's coming along really nicely. It's cleaned up well. Okay, now what I'm doing here is I'm adding an extra stanchion to the frame brace, because I'm going to have to remove this brace that you see here that was supporting the trunk and the rear of the car. And so we're going to get that out of the way right now. So we actually have 4 stanchions at the back of this car supporting it on the frame fixture. And you can see the vehicle didn't move in any way, so that's a really good sign. Now we're going to work on getting the rest of the trunk out of the way. And using a 7-inch cutoff wheel, we'll do a rough cut on that. Just working slowly and carefully. Don't want to have any mishaps with the grinder, with the cutoff wheel. And there it is. Okay, now we're going to be removing that last little bit of the front of the trunk upper floor. And we're separating it from the braces. After we have drilled out the resistance welds. Okay, trunk is officially removed. And we're going to switch over to the left side and pretty much repeat that process. And quarter panels almost completely removed now. And this is the passenger side or right hand. And the white mark, that's where I want to get close with my, or just a reference while I'm using the cutoff wheel. Cut a straight line anyway, is what I'm trying to say. And I'm holding the cutoff wheel or grinder like that because of the video. Usually I want to have a much better grip on that. So yeah, that's not great practice, but for the video. Okay, now this little brace here was loose, so we're going to punch a couple holes in it. Clean up the back sides. The wire wheel. And we're going to secure that back into place with a couple of plug welds. And that's good to go. Now the traditional method is to drill out all of the resistance welds. And sometimes that's the only way. But there is also another way. If you're really careful and you use the air hammer correctly with a chisel type bit, you can work around the resistance weld and you will incredibly speed up the amount of time it takes to remove or separate body panels. And then you come back and usually there's just a little bit of material left, and you can knock that off with a grinding disc. Takes a little bit of practice. Try it out sometime. See what you think. And prepping passenger side. And whenever you're using, now this is a flap wheel, flap disc. you always want to keep in mind how much metal you're removing. Not too much. Okay, this is where we're at for part 12. Everything's looking really good. So like I said, we're going to be repairing those inner wheel well housings. They're not super bad. Just along the mating edges, there's some rust. So in the next video, we'll do that and start getting the body panels, trunk floor, quarter panels, get this thing put together. Stay tuned for part 13. As always, thanks for our subscribers, followers. We're up to 3,000 subscribers now. Really appreciate you guys. Be sure to check out our merchandise store. I'll put a link in the description. As always, thanks for watching.